Welcome in to the Sactown Sports Kings recap. The Sacramento Kings take this one 122-115 over the Golden State Warriors. Oh, look at this. Something very special. This is like our own Sactown Sports version of Lighting the Beam right here. We have, as you can see, this pretty little Kings recap overlay. How about we throw that in there right there? Kings win. Kings win this one, like I said, 122-115. They are now a 500 basketball team. The Sacramento Kings have clawed their way to 6-6 after starting off the season 0-4. They've won, what is that? Somebody do the math for me. 6 of their last 8. 6 of their last 8 have been victories, tough victories on Wednesday over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Los Angeles Lakers ended up being a tougher game than I think we all wanted, but pulled that one out at the end. Similar story here at Golden One Center against Golden State. A very, very, very competitive game. A game that looked like it wasn't going to go the Kings' way late in that fourth quarter. But, man, oh, man, this team continues to find ways to win these tough ball games. That's incredibly character building. You know, they started off the season losing a lot of close games. The Golden State game comes to mind. The Memphis game was a game that I think was closer than what most of us remember, and then eventually, Memphis ended up pulling away. The Kings have been in tons of close games this year, and what we're seeing is them finally learning how to come out on the better end of it. Something that really stuck out to me, especially down the stretch there, they made players not named Stephen Curry beat them. And I think that's really the reason why the Kings won down the stretch there. They forced Lamb to take a couple very important shots. He wasn't going to come through. I mean, that's the exact person you want taking those shots if you're the Kings. You want Lamb taking those shots for the Kings to lose the game. If they're going to lose that way, you got to live with that. Clay was also not his normal self today. He missed a couple clutch shots, but I think the real key was not having Steph Curry beat you, as we saw him do on Monday night in Golden State, as he did on on Friday against Cleveland. Great game plan from Mike Brown down the stretch. And you have to believe that, you know, Mike having some insight with this Warrior team, he obviously knows this team inside and out like the back of his hand. He knows what kind of looks the Warriors like to get, and he knows what their plan is down the stretch of these games. And you know, it's no surprise that getting the ball to Steph Curry is a huge plan for the Warriors down the stretch. And I think the Kings did an excellent job of denying him, making him give up the ball, and making other people beat them. And they didn't. And I really think that was the key to tonight's game. You know, if I'm going to give a player of the game out, De'Aaron Fox, I think, played great down the stretch. He hit a 3 when they really, really needed it. He had a quiet night for most of the night. And then in that fourth quarter, as he's tended to do these past few games, De'Aaron Fox won this basketball game for this team, came alive, did an incredibly clutch 3 with about 2 minutes to go in this game to give the Kings the lead. And they really never looked back from there. Huge game from De'Aaron yet again. That's the kind of thing that we are coming to expect from De'Aaron on a nightly basis. What we haven't seen on a nightly basis, but this is absolutely something that he can do, Domantas Sabonis with a monster night. 26 points, 22 rebounds, 8 assists. I mean, that is peak Domantas Sabonis right there. That is absolutely what he does when he dominates games. The Kings needed him. He came up with a very, very big rebound off a De'Aaron Fox miss, I believe, and got the putback and won. That was huge. Just an absolutely massive night for Sabonis. He finishes with 1 foul. 1 foul, ladies and gentlemen. This is the kind of game that we need Domantas to have more often. This is why it's so crucial for him to not get into foul trouble, is because the Kings need him down the stretch of games. And if he's going to be in foul trouble, he's not going to be available like he was tonight. And he gave the Kings absolutely incredible minutes. He was able to play, let me get here, quick math, 7-8 minutes in that fourth quarter period. I mean, that is huge. And I think, also big shout out to Davion Mitchell, who did step up and make Steph Curry's life a nightmare for about 2-3 minutes there in the fourth quarter to give De'Aaron Fox some rest. I thought that was really big. Who else had a big game? Keegan Murray, love love to see the Kings rookie have a big night like he did tonight. If Keegan can get going, if Malik Monk can continue the play that he's had in this nice little winning patch the Kings have had, if Kevin Huerter can find his shot again, look out. This team is going to be incredibly dangerous going forward here on the offensive end. Defensively, they'll have to tighten some stuff up. That first quarter was not great. They allowed 38 points in that fourth quarter. It was looking like we were going to see another Warrior 90-point half, but they really, really, really defended well. And I almost dropped my phone. Really defended well in that second quarter, only allowing the Warriors, I believe, 23 points in that second quarter after allowing 39 in the first. That definitely quelled the momentum that they had, but I absolutely believe that slowing Steph Curry down was the key for tonight's game. Let's go to some comments here. Let's see what's going on in the stream. This is a huge thing. I can't believe I didn't bring this up. Domas, 2 for 2 from 3 tonight. He has really, really struggled from the three-point line so far this season after so much was made of him practicing with Instagram shooting coach, lethal shooter. We were all expecting Domas to add that three-point shot to his game this season. It has not happened. Tonight, he was 2 of 2. They were big, big threes, and you just love to see that go well for Sabonis. Sorry, didn't mean to show that, but hello, David B. also. Let's see here. What else do we have in the chat? Get your thoughts up here in the chat if you got anything to say. Davion was nice tonight. Solid defense. I thought so as well. His offensive game is going to come and go. He had 2 points tonight, but I thought he played excellent defense, and that's how Davion's going to stay on the floor. It's really not about his offensive game. Whatever he can give you offensively, I think is a huge bonus. But when you're talking about Davion Mitchell's minutes, and he played 14 minutes tonight. And what you want in those 14 minutes, you don't need him to score 16 points or whatever. You need him to defend for those 15 minutes, and that's absolutely what he did. He tired out Steph Curry, I think, towards the end of this game, and it was a beautiful thing to see. And you really love to see Davion not letting his offense dictate how he's going to play, how he's going to fight in the game. Great stuff out of Davion. This was this is what I'm most intrigued with. How are people feeling about this year's City Edition jerseys? This was the first game that the Kings rocked those gray, or I'll call them silver City Edition jerseys with Sacramento on the front. They're 1-0 in these jerseys, so you can't argue with the results. But I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest. I think they looked a lot better on court than I was anticipating. But I'm just not a big fan of it's not very snazzy. I don't know. It didn't really have the flair that I was looking for. Of course, everyone is reminiscent and wanting those 01-02 classic throwback jerseys. I don't think we'll get those for a couple years. So maybe we just won't even be truly satisfied until we get one of those jerseys. Yes, boss man, Nick Cattles, welcome to 500, sitting at 6-6 after an 0-4 start. Get excited. I mean, this is it right here. This right here, Mr. Cattles, is absolutely correct. We need to be excited. Like, Kings fans have not had much to get excited about over these, 16 years. This is something incredibly exciting. The Kings have pulled themselves out from a very, very tough situation, starting the season 0-4. How many times have we seen, not necessarily throughout the season, but in games, them just absolutely giving up? Or it seemed, I keep bringing up this Cleveland game that happened on Wednesday. They went down 99-105. How many times mid fourth quarter would that be the end? The Kings down 6. They fought hard for a lot of the game and then just give it up towards the end of the game because they pulled away and they're better than us. This team feels different. This is not, and how many times has this team is different been said around here? But these things have not happened. Right here, 6-2 in their last 8 games played. I can't remember the last time the Kings went on a stretch like this. And if we want to look forward a little here, they have Brooklyn on Tuesday. That's going to be a nationally televised game. Brooklyn, I think we all know how dysfunctional that Brooklyn situation seems at the moment. They're not the Brooklyn Nets that they are on paper, or they seem to be on paper. It's not as menacing going against a Kevin Durant, possibly Kyrie Irving, though I doubt it. Doesn't seem like Kyrie's going to play on their current road trip. Ben Simmons, Jacques Vaughn is now their interim head coach. So, Brooklyn would have you like to believe that they have steadied their ship a little bit, but I would like to see the Kings capitalize on that dysfunctional Brooklyn situation on Tuesday, like I said, on national television, and then things lighten up. They have the San Antonio Spurs and the Detroit Pistons to close out their nice little 4-game homestand that they have this week. Dare I say it? Are the Kings going to go 4-0 on this homestand? That would be 6 straight victories. Now, that's how you would know that there is something different with this team. 6 straight victories would be huge, but it's lined up right here for them. They've taken out the toughest test in Cleveland. This Golden State team, they've been a pain in the side for the Kings this season. Let's go back and talk about the previous 2 matchups. Obviously, there was that first Golden State game where Golden State dropped 90 in the first half, or 89 in the first half. The Kings were down 15, I believe, and then came back, made it a 5-point loss. It was a little bit difficult to kind of gauge how you should feel after that. Obviously, giving up 90 points is not ideal, but for them to stay in that game and then make it a 5-point game, I think is a moral victory, if you will. And then last matchup on Monday, the Kings were in it the entire time, fighting. And then at the end of the game, the controversy comes. Klay Thompson comes into Kevin Huerter. There's a no call. Kings don't get a chance to send the game into overtime. That was an incredibly unfortunate event. Let's get some thumbs up here. Yes, let's get some thumbs up. I agree. For Chris and for Keegan, absolutely, yes. Let's talk about the Kings rookie a little bit more here. He was incredible tonight. He's had a stretch of games here that have been really rough for him. Not exactly what you'd like to see. He looked like a completely different player, honestly. If you watch Keegan's first 5 or 6 games of this season, he looked automatic. He looked absolutely automatic this season, or early this season from 3. All of his threes, they weren't going left, they weren't going right. It was like an arrow straight on. It was just a matter of if it was going to be long or short. And since then, you've seen the inconsistency in his shot. You see him struggling a little bit to finish in transition. He really doesn't have too many moves when he's going full steam. He doesn't have that Euro step that we see Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox have. That's going to be a part of his development process. But at the moment right now, Keegan Murray is asked to come in and be an absolutely, no pun intended, he's coming in to be a lethal shooter. And that's absolutely what he did tonight. He's coming off screens, taking leaning fadeaway threes from the top of the break. I mean, just absolutely incredible stuff. Keegan Murray, again, like I said, he's had a tough go of it the past couple games, but it was really good to see his shot fall tonight, and that was really good to see. And obviously, we've heard that Keegan has had some personal problems in his family, and we're giving him our thoughts and prayers to him. But it's good to see him snap out of that little funk that he was in and give this team a much needed boost. 21 points on how many shots was it? He was very efficient, if I remember correctly. 8 of 15, 5 of 9 from 3. I didn't even realize he had hit 5 threes. That's absolutely incredible. Keegan Murray did play the most minutes, 37 minutes. That was a very common trend in Keegan's first couple of games. Mike Brown was running him into the ground, and that could be a big reason why we did see Keegan slump for a little bit there. Let's not forget, this is his first little bit of NBA action here. He came in after Summer League, came in hot, seemed like he was warm, ready to go. And you know what? The Kings continued to practice. They had practices just about every day following training camp, and then preseason, and then even in the first week of the season, they had a lot of days in between games. And Mike Brown was practicing them every single day. And something tells me that did have a little bit of an effect on Keegan Murray. You can't forget this is the first time he's ever been a dedicated basketball player. He doesn't have classes to go to. He doesn't have random hangout sessions with his friend, just typical college stuff. Keegan's not going through that anymore. Let's also not forget he just went on his first NBA road trip and is coming off that. That's a whole adjustment of like, you're on the road now. You get your own hotel room. You're pretty much by yourself all day until game time. And it's your responsibility to make sure you're ready, you're prepared. Not saying Keegan wasn't any of that, but just getting used to the rhythm of that kind of lifestyle. It's an adjustment period, and that might be a little bit of an excuse, but I really do think that that's a very real thing. But it is good to see Keegan getting those minutes, seeing Mike Brown trust him straight off the bat. And this is something I mentioned at the beginning of this stream here. Don't let Steph beat you. That was the key. I completely 100% agree. Again, let me see if I can pull up the play-by-play here and really see how many possessions they went without letting Steph Curry beat them down the stretch. Because, again, like I said earlier, that's what Golden State was trying to do down the stretch. Get Steph Curry loose like he was for a majority of today, and then really, really quieted him down the stretch. Let's see here. So he took a three-point shot with 419, 340. It looks like 340 was his last jump shot attempt. After that, I really got to learn, what is Lamb's first name? I don't even know. There's so many Lambs nowadays. Deron Lamb. There's another Lamb. Mary had a little Lamb. Anthony Lamb. Anthony Lamb had a three at the 3-minute mark. He missed that one. Andrew Wiggins had a three at the 2:30 mark. Missed that one. Then Wiggins had a layup. Klay Thompson missed three at the 1:10 mark. Andrew Wiggins missed three at the 42-second mark. And Klay Thompson missed three at the 23-minute mark. So Steph Curry did not take a shot the last 3 minutes, 40 seconds of that game. That is beautiful, beautiful stuff from Mike Brown. Excellent execution. And, just big ups to the Kings, big up to De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, who were really, really working on trapping him and making his life incredibly difficult coming off those screens as they were trying to get him loose. Very, very, very big night for the Kings' two stars. I mean, just an absolutely beautiful performance. KD in town on Tuesday. That's going to be a very, very interesting one. KD, last time I saw him, that was on Friday. I believe that's when he had a 29, 12, and 12 performance in Jacques Vaughn's first game as head coach. Always scary to see Kevin Durant come in the building and come into town. The Kings really are going to have a tough time matching up against him, as most teams do. It's very, very tough to find a 6'10", 6'11", some would argue 7-foot guy that moves the way Kevin Durant does. Who are you really going to throw on him? I'd expect to see Keegan Murray get a shot at KD. Harrison Barnes also has a very strong build, strong body. Maybe they throw him on KD. That will be incredibly interesting to watch on Tuesday. Can't wait for that one. Kings haven't won 3 games in a row since December 8th, 2021 before tonight. I cannot confirm that, but I'm going to take your word for it, and I'm gonna expand upon it, because that is absolutely insane. That's not even really much like a lot of Kings facts. That's not really an accomplishment. 3 games is something that should happen once a year at least. And it doesn't surprise me that the Kings haven't had a 3-game winning streak in a very long time, but that is pretty insane that it has been almost a full calendar year since the Sacramento Kings have won 3 in a row. And here I am predicting that they're going to win 6 in a row. So what does that say about me? Definitely not the Nostradamus that I think I am. We actually have a positive point differential. Wow, is that really true? Let me see here. Positive point differential, and that's kind of a secret sauce if people want to get a look at who truly are, like, standings are going to fluctuate throughout the year. But if you really want to get a good gauge on if your team is better than another team, in general, point differential is a pretty good indicator of how the league really does stack out. If you have a huge point differential, generally that means you win by a lot and you lose some close games. So let's see here. Wow, look at that. I have not seen the Kings have a positive point differential in an incredibly long time. This was an incredibly fun game. I hope everyone who came tonight had a blast. It's always bittersweet when the Kings play a team like the Warriors, like the Lakers. There's always a ton of fans of the opposing team in the crowd. Tonight was no different. It was probably noise-wise 60-40 Warriors, maybe a little bit more than that. There was definitely Warrior fans making their presence known. It was just as loud when the Warriors would hit crazy threes than when the Kings would. That does not surprise me, but it is not fun to hear, especially when, tonight we ended up on the good end of things. Typically, that is not a very welcome sound to hear, especially in your home arena. The Kings, I need to reiterate, for those who don't know, Kings won this one tonight, 122-115. Domantas Sabonis had a huge night, 26 points, 22 rebounds, 8 assists. De'Aaron Fox also had an incredibly great night, really big down the stretch, had 22 points, 8 assists, 3 steals on top of that. Big-time stuff, man. De'Aaron is just staking his claim every single night for why he is an all-star this season. And many, many Kings have said it. They know that they need to win games to get De'Aaron to that all-star game. They're trying to do it for him. He deserves it. He deserves the recognition. And if the Kings keep doing things like they did tonight and like they did on Wednesday, beating good teams, that's how they're going to get recognition from the national media, from everyone across the country. That's how they're going to get respect from the referees, like Mike Brown was talking about last week. It's big time stuff. Who is this? Deuce. We got Deuce Mason, the king of post game.
Big win. Big win. I have to go to the bathroom, but I want to say hi. Big win. Shout out to my guy Chris.
Hey, shout out Deuce. Appreciate it, man. Let's see here. Shout out Deuce. That was awesome. That was awesome. Yes, this right here, De'Aaron Fox is 1,000% that guy. For those who don't listen to me, I'm going to have a nice little plug here. Kings Weekly, I host every single Saturday at 11 o'clock on Sactown Sports 1140. Also on this here YouTube page. That was definitely the theme of this past Saturday's show. De'Aaron Fox is that guy. I mean, every single thing he has done this year has been to prove that he is in that caliber of player that people don't believe he's in. I have fallen victim to it. I mean, I am one who is always like, John Morant has passed De'Aaron Fox, and I still do hold to that statement, but it's really not that big of a gap. I mean, Ja has won a lot more games. I would say Ja is in a better franchise. He has a better organization around him, or a better team around him. And so he's gotten all of the accolades, all of the attention. But De'Aaron Fox is proving that he is absolutely to that caliber of player, and you can win ball games with De'Aaron Fox as your best player, as the Kings have done these past 3 games. Keegan versus KD, talked about that a little bit. Let's see here. Light the beam, the beacon. The beacons are lit for all of my Lord of the Rings fans out there. I do love the beam. It is not something I anticipated to be so hyped about, but wow, yeah, the beam is an excellent addition to this year's festivities, I guess you would call them. Really, really cool. Big fan. And I don't know if anyone, people who were here obviously know, but I don't know if you could really catch it on TV. The Kings also had wristbands that they passed out to everyone on their seats that had lights that were synced up with something, and it was a really cool show. So shout out the Sacramento Kings for upping the production value of things. Really, really cool. I thought the video for their new jerseys was also very cool from an aesthetic perspective. But Is there any final thoughts from anybody before we get out of here? Is there any final thoughts? Good win for morale. Completely agree with that. I mean, these guys are definitely feeling a little bit of a change. You have to feel like they're building towards something. Mike Brown has talked countless times this season about how they want to always remain on an upward trajectory, regardless of, you're going to hit speed bumps, you're going to lose games, but it's about coming out the next day and feeling positive about the direction you're going and always building up. I mean, this is nothing new. Last season it was stack days. That was their big mantra. This year it's all in. It is also upward, and onward. They will continue to try and build upon these things. And I mean, again, if they can take care of Brooklyn on Tuesday, beat San Antonio on, I think that's Wednesday or Thursday, and then they play, why am I blanking? They play Detroit on Sunday as well. We could be talking about, what would that be? A 9-6 ball club here. Look out. Oh, let's get out of here on this. Would DeMarcus Cousins really help us? This is the question that, just real quick on this. There was news this week. DeMarcus did tweet out that he would love to help bring the Sacramento Kings to the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen. I just can't imagine that the Kings bring in DeMarcus Cousins. I really don't know if he's even what this team really needs. They don't really need like a scoring bench center. I think they need somebody who's going to come in, rebound, be a rim protector, and just kind of fill in their role, be a rim runner, that kind of thing. And DeMarcus just kind of attracts too much attention both off the floor and on the floor. He tends to try and do a little bit more than just what that would be asked of him. But we don't need to worry about that because right now the Kings are playing fantastic basketball. They are figuring things out. Chimezie Metu is the team's current backup center. And I think he's doing all right for sure. He's definitely earning his minutes. And it's good stuff to see from the Sacramento Kings, who take this one tonight, 122-115 from Golden One Center. That's going to be it for me. Appreciate everyone hopping in this stream. Go Kings. Go Kings. We will see you on Tuesday after the Brooklyn Nets game. Y'all have a fantastic night. Bye-bye.